Hey, welcome back to Tutoring 56. I have a nice little activity to support the understanding of percentages and to help students understand that percentages is basically a way of describing something that's part of 100. So, i.e., you get 86%, it means you have 86 of the 100 marks or the 100 squares. So our activity today will end up with the students creating two different pictures, but this is the first one, where they have created a 10 by 10 block, so 10 rows, 10 columns, and they're going to create a letter by color in full blocks, the first part of this. And then they're going to, in the case of my B, they're going to count how many colored blocks they have. They're going to take that number of colored blocks and divide it by 100 to change it into a decimal, and then change the decimal into percentages. While we're learning this concept, I do emphasize that this is how we use the number or that concept in math. We have to use it as 0.32, but we say 32%. And my comparison is if you went home and told mommy you got 0.85 on your math test, she might look at you strange. But if you say you got 85%, that makes sense to moms. So therefore, to say this is our English way of explaining, our qualitative way of explaining a mathematical concept. So here are the actual instructions. And let's just run through them first, okay? So from the student's standpoint, the objective is to calculate the percentage your letter is going to take up on a 10 by 10 block. Step 1 is to create a 10 by 10 block. Now, my recommendation is if you're having the student do this individually, like a homeschooler, use graph paper. Drawing straight lines can be very frustrating and time-consuming. If you're a teacher, just go on Word, and I just put in the table, and I make my table 10 by 10, and then I just stretch it out so they're actual squares. That's it. So there's your 10 by 10. So that's step 1. Draw a square that's 10 by 10. Next, create a letter of your choice by coloring in the whole blocks. So that's what we did here. Let me go back to my picture, and my instructions are over here. All right. So that's step 2. Step 3, let's count out how many colored blocks I used. Count them up. I've got 32 colored blocks. Now, if you're a classroom teacher and you're looking for ways to mark or assess, make sure that they're going to write it out and show you the work. Okay? Step 4, divide the number of colored blocks by 100. Why 100? Because that's how many little squares I have there. And I'm going to end up with a decimal, reinforcing the fact that I have not colored in the whole 10 by 10. Therefore, I shouldn't have more than one because I don't have the whole big square. I've got part of the square. And last but not least, number 5, take that and flip it to percent. So this is going to reinforce the concept that these two are related, but like I said earlier, this is a qualitative way to describe a quantitative concept, right? So I can understand 85% if I'm a mom. I might not understand 0.85 as a mom, or I would, but I might have to think twice. So that would be the step 1. Now on this first one, we are coloring in whole blocks because it's an introductory activity. Then, number 6, repeat steps 1 and 5 using a rectangle that is 10 by 15. Now, you can change this combination. I just said, let's use a 10 by 15. Okay? There's your 10 by 15. And you're going to repeat it. This time, though, they can take out the little artsy part of themselves and creativity part of themselves and create a design. Now, this time, if you look at my diagram, you can see that I'm using half blocks. But in the I can't use quarter blocks or part of a block, so I can't make curves. I want to be able to count them all up. Now, you can see here I said please be sure to use more than 50% of the blocks. That's fine. In this case, in my design, I've used 77 blocks. I'm going to divide the color by the total, so 77 colored blocks divided by the total of 150 gives me 0.51. Change that to percent, which is going to flip it to 51%. Okay, please note I said make sure you use more than 50%. So I have just done the 51, just over. But there we go. So this is a nice, quick, reinforcing activity on percentages, and mine is, it allows a more hands-on approach so that students can actually see how a percentage relates to the whole square or the whole rectangle. That it's just not numbers on a piece of paper, it's just not doing A, B, C. So it's pushing it up the Bloom's taxonomy, and it's doing some critical thinking, because they're going to have to think about how they're going to make a balanced diagram, balanced design, and still get more than 50%. We want it to look nice. Now, you can use this for classroom teachers, use this for an art assignment too. So you can be looking for, do the colors coordinate? Is it balanced? Do I have a left to right, a top to bottom? Any of those concepts that you're teaching in art can be reinforced in this concept too. There you go. Nice afternoon activity that can reinforce understanding of decimals through to percents. It's fun. It reinforces. Take care, and here's next time.